49ers on your proud home of 49ers football. Touchdown! KNBR, the sports leader. Your faithful fix with your host Larry Krueger begins now.
4th down and 1 for the Rams. Niners lead by 3, a chance to win it with a stop here in overtime. Stafford gets under center at the 11-yard line. He takes it, he turns, he gives to Kyren Williams. He gets back. I think he's short, Tim. I think he's short. And the 49ers storm the field. It is all over. The 49ers have won it in overtime here in LA.
What an unbelievable win. High drama finishes in favor of the MASH unit, the 49ers, and they earned it.
What a moment that was. I'm getting chills listening to my Guy Haberman and T-Rock on the call. Of course, Guy in for Greg Papa. Greg, if you're out there, we're thinking about you, praying for you, brother. But what a great call. Tim, I think he's short. Oh, what a moment. Just getting chills. Thursday night. What a football game that was. I don't know about you, but it just sets you up to be in a great mood all weekend long. And today is just a glorious Saturday of watching a little college football. Last night I had a chance to watch a little high school football, though my favorite team, our Northgate JVs, did lose to Los Lomas, a scintillating 3-0 final in the creek. So that a 3-0 football game is a tough watch. It's a tough watch, but congrats to Los Lomas for their win over Northgate JVs. And I don't know about the varsity. I think the Los Lomas varsity might have beat Northgate's varsity as well, but I don't have the exact info on that one. But welcome to 49er Forecast. Normally in this hour, we forecast what is going to happen in tomorrow's game. But now it's a little bit more of a rehash because the Niners played Thursday night. So what do we got planned for this hour? First of all, it's going to be an hour and change because we're taking you into Cubs Brewers. In fact, if you want to listen to baseball on the radio on this fall day, we got you covered on the Sports Leader because Cubs Brewers game 1 of the division series. Cubs are got by the Pods. Brewers are the number 1 seed, waiting for them. He'll be at Miller Park there, or American Family Field is what they now call it. Boyd against Peralta. So that's the first of a quad box of games today that you're going to get on the Sports Leader. So Cubs Brewers starts at 11:08 our time, so about roughly an hour from now. And then we're going to take you in after that game concludes. We're going to pass you over to Yankees Blue Jays in Toronto. The Bombers going with Gill and the ex-Giant on the bump for Toronto, Kevin Gausman. Yankees plus 105 in that one. And then Dodgers Phillies at 3:38. And that game is going to be on TBS from Citizens Bank Park, but we'll have the radio call, of course, and that's Shohei Ohtani on the mound against Sanchez. And the Dodgers are even money favorites there. Phillies minus 120, and then Tigers Mariners at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. Melton against Kirby. And that one I think is on FS1. Detroit's plus 160. Seattle, a minus 190 favorite. So we'll see, but we got 4 baseball games for you. I'm going to go check out Cal tonight. Cal against Duke at Memorial Stadium, bringing the boys out to watch Cal. And don't get a lot of time on the weekends to watch a lot of college football in person, but with the Niners having the bye, I figured this would be a perfect opportunity. So tonight we will be in Berkeley for a little bit of Cal Duke football. But we want to get it rolling here at 808 KNBR. We got a great hour for you. If you want to chime in, 808 KNBR is the number. I have one simple question for you. It's real basic. The 49ers are 4-1, mostly because of who or what? What would you say at 808 KNBR? The Niners are off to a 4-1 start. Who deserves the most credit? Who deserves the most credit for the Niners being 4-1? Or what deserves the most credit? Maybe it's something. Maybe it's not maybe you don't want to credit a person. Maybe you want to credit the run game. Well, it wouldn't be the run game. Maybe you want to credit Mac Jones. Well, he is a person. Maybe you want to credit the special teams. Oh, you wouldn't credit the special teams. But you know what I'm saying. Who or what is mostly responsible for the 4-1 49er hot start? That's the question of the day. Because, man, the other night was incredibly exciting. And I could look at that and go, Mac Jones has an awful lot to do with the 49ers off to this 4-1 start. He's got 3 of those wins. So it'd be real easy to say McCorkle. It's been McCorkle. Other people might say, you know what? It's been Robert Saleh. How about Robert Saleh as an option? The Niners last year were 29th in the NFL in scoring defense. They got rid of Greenlaw, got rid of Afonga, got rid of Mooney Ward. Some quality veterans on their defense moved on. And yet today, I believe they're 8th in the NFL in scoring defense with a bunch of rookies. What do they have? They had Bryce Huff. They don't have Nick Bosa. He's done for the year. What have they really added? They added Marquise Siegel and Upton Stout in the secondary, Mikael Williams and Bryce Huff up front. And they changed coordinators. And last year they were 29th in the NFL in scoring defense, and today they're 8th. And I thought they did a really nice job at containing Puka Nacua. They had 2 takeaways in the game. By the way, Fred Warner is just playing amazing, man. 91.3 PFF defensive grade, 4th best among all linebackers. 91.3 coverage grade, number 1 among all linebackers. He is the only NFL linebacker with an 80-plus grade in both defensive grade and coverage grade. Fred Warner is playing at an amazing level, and he's brought D. Winters with him on that second level. So I might want to credit Fred. I might want to credit D. I might want to credit Mikael Williams, who didn't do much in this game, but, man, he has been fantastic. I may want to throw a vote towards Alfred Collins. How about that play that he made on the goal line? Oh, my God. That was an amazing play. I mean, the Rams are going in for the score, for the win, and the Niners are going to get the cover on the road. That wasn't going to do anything for anybody. I mean, if you bet it, you'd be happy, but you think any of those players or coaches are getting on the we covered? No. They want to win the game. It's win or else. What's the old saying? The moral advantages of losing have been greatly exaggerated. There's no advantage in the NFL in losing. Anybody who's ever talks up losing, you always got to wonder about that. The old saying, you show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. But Robert Saleh, you could point to Robert Saleh and say he's mostly responsible for the 4-1 start. I mean, they're playing much better defense. I could say Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey just joined a list of 6 players with 11,000 or more yards from scrimmage and 80 or more touchdowns through their first 100 career games. This list is awesome. It's Adrian Peterson, LaDainian Tomlinson, Emmitt Smith, Eric Dickerson, and Jim Brown. I mean, that is a list. So 808 KNBR. Niners are 4-1, mostly because of who or what. Let's take one call here before the break. The great John Chapman is going to stop by. We'll chop it up with Chapman, who just joined me last hour on the Krug Show for a little morning Niners stream, and he's going to stop by in about 15 or in a few minutes here. But let's go to T Money in Tucson. Let's flex the blowtorch's mighty power and get out to Tucson. Actually, Raph says no, that's not your call. That's T Money in Tucson who called from last night. I should have noticed that he's been holding for 825 minutes. That probably should have been the giveaway.
He's a big fan, Larry.
He wanted to get on early, so he got on last night, and he just held all night. All right, that's okay. But if you want to chime in, 808 KNBR is the number. Niners are 4-1 mostly because of who or what. And if it was up to me, I would say it's mostly due to Christian McCaffrey. You know, the fact of the matter is that McCaffrey is everything for the Niners. He had 22 carries, and he had 8 receptions on 9 targets. So they targeted him. They tried to get the ball in his hands almost 30 times. And look at what the guy is doing as a receiver right now. 8 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown off 9 targets. So the Niners can't open run lanes, and they can't run. The Niners average 2.2 yards per carry. And believe it or not, that's going to have to change. If the Niners want to go to the playoffs and be this, team, make 2025 memorable, we can debate forever about Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, Brock Purdy, but it really comes down to, can they run the ball? If they can't run the ball, it's all going to be short-lived. They're going to have to figure out a way to run the ball. Now, maybe that means, maybe it turns around when George Kittle gets back. He won't be back for next week, but he should be back the week after. Maybe Kittle by himself can unleash, the power of this run game, because they're not getting it blocked up front. There are no holes. You saw the stat of stats that Christian McCaffrey coming into this game against the Rams Thursday night was averaging 1.47 yards before first contact. To put that in perspective, the Eagles last year with Saquon Barkley, I think he averaged like 3.6 or 3.7 before first contact. McCaffrey's not getting by that first line of defense. He's not getting past the line of scrimmage. He's getting hit in the backfield consistently. That has to end. So does that mean you change out Brendel? I don't know. He was the highest graded run blocker of any 49er offensive lineman, according to PFF. And I don't even know if I believe PFF anymore when I look at some of these numbers. Colby and Pooney. Colby's, beat up at left guard. Pooney's seemingly regressed a little bit at right guard. But they're just not getting a push in the middle. And it's making it very, very difficult to run. And it's putting it on, Shanahan and the quarterbacks to make it all happen. Jones dropped back pass 49 times on Thursday night. And that's the other thing, too. It's not like the Niners are going with Mac Jones and they're like, yeah, we'll just protect him. We'll run the hell out of it, and we'll have him throw it 10, 15 times a game. No, they're like, Mac, carry us to victory. And he's doing it. He's playing incredible football. Mac Jones has had a career renaissance in a month with the 49ers. I mean, it is something else to watch Mac Jones do his thing. And if you think about Mac Jones, by the way, he was 15-1 at Alabama as a starter, 28-2 at Alabama in games that he played even a snap. Then he comes into the NFL. He's a Pro Bowler, as a rookie in 2021. He went 18-24 overall with New England. Then they traded him to Jacksonville. He went 2-5 with Jacksonville. And now he's 3-0 with the Niners. And he's playing really, really good football. But if you go back and look at this guy's college career, you see a guy who did a lot of good things. In 2020, he had a 77.4 completion percentage. He was the SEC Scholar Athlete of the Year. He had a 4.0 GPA and has his master's. So, I mean, and then it was a mid-first round pick. And it didn't work out. But was that on him, or was it on Joe Judge and Matt Patricia? Was it on him, or was it on the circumstance? Because he looks pretty good now. I got to say, he looked pretty good the other night. And it didn't look accidental, did it? So if you want to chime in, I'd have to say I would put probably Saleh or CMC at the top of the list for why the Niners are 4-1. But, man, if you want to go with Mac Jones, I ain't going to fight you on it. All right, let's take a timeout. 808 KNBR is the number. We've got time for calls if you want to jump in. But the great John Chapman from the 49er Rush podcast, he's going to join us next, and we'll break down where the Niners are and where they're headed. It's a 49er forecast on a Saturday on the Sports Leader.
KNBR, the Sports Leader.
Stafford takes, gives Kyron Williams, and he is...
Ball out!
He fumbled it! The Niners are saying they got it. The play was shy of the line to gain. Wait for a signal. They're unpiling everybody at the 1. The 49ers come out of there. Alfred Collins has the football.
Oh, and he just punched it out from Kyron Williams and then held on to it.
Faithful, time to make some Niners noise. 49ers Forecast with Larry Krueger now continues on your proud home of 49ers football. KNBR, the sports leader.
What a moment that was. Tim Ryan on the call with Guy Haberman. Ball out! Ball out! That's like similar to Kruka with, we're going! We're going! If you're a Giants fan, you remember that. That's an old poll. Welcome back, 49er Forecast on a Saturday. Larry Krueger with you. Joining us on the UMA guest line to break it all down, John Chapman, who is 49er Rush podcast creator and host. He's a great follow on X at JL_Chapman. And he's with us on the UMA guest line to talk all things Niners. What's up, John? How are you?
Oh, doing great. After listening to that call, man, like, how are you not riled up? We all become fans for division games, close fourth quarter overtime victories. Man, still riding cloud 9 after that 49ers victory.
Oh, my gosh. Well, let's start right there. The 49ers don't win this game last year because they don't get those two defensive stands. They don't get the Alfred Collins forced fumble recovery at the 1. And they don't get the fourth down stop of Kyron Williams. That, to me, I mean, I love what I've seen from Mac Jones. CMC's been amazing. But, man, how can we ignore the fact that Robert Saleh, with basically the exact same players as Sorensen had a year ago, has stepped in, and this defense has gone from 29th in scoring defense to 8th with basically the same cast.
It just, what a difference coaching makes. The 49ers basically invested this year in coaching, rookies, and betting on this schedule. And so far it's paid off. They're 4-1, obviously. But when you are dead last in the NFL in fourth quarter points allowed last year under Sorensen, and you look at the difference Robert Saleh and all these rookies have made every single game this year, all 5, including the one that they lost, the defense held their bargain in the fourth quarter, giving the offense an opportunity to get the score to go win the game. The offense has delivered 4 times. The defense has delivered actually 7 because you got 2 fourth quarter or overtime stops in the Saints game and against the Rams. You just keep putting your team in a position to win, and Robert Saleh has been worth his weight in gold since he's shown up again.
Yeah, no question. He has been fantastic. Alfred Collins, what a great game he had. I mean, I was looking at some of the highest graded 49ers on offense, highest graded 49ers on defense. The highest graded Niners on defense, Yatir Gross, according to this is PFF. Now, I don't know, once again, I like PFF when I agree with PFF. I don't like PFF when I disagree. But
well said.
Highest graded Niners on defense, according to PFF. Yatir Gross-Matos, who only played 11 snaps. Alfred Collins, number 2. Then Fred Warner, then Jair Brown, then Jason Pinnock. So, I mean, Alfred Collins, Mikael Williams, CJ West, they drafted 3 real good prospects for their front. How would you evaluate them 5 games in?
Well, Alfred Collins has just been a steady trajectory pointed to the ceiling. First game, little rough, missed all of OTAs, dealing with the injury, dealing with the contract, changing schemes. But you're getting a player, my favorite thing about Alfred Collins, I'm a Longhorn, I'm biased. He shows up in the biggest games at the biggest moments, all throughout his college tenure. And to see that translate to already 5 games in the NFL season, that's huge. And with the injury to Kalia Davis, Alfred Collins is now your starter. And my assumption is he's going to be holding that job down. I don't think Kalia Davis is going to get it whenever he comes back from his surgery. Now, CJ West, man, I love the player IQ. One of my favorite parts of this game was Jair Brown comes in. The player he's guarding drops the ball. Jair Brown gets up in his face and about to get a taunting penalty. You see the rookie CJ West hightail it, from across the field to stop Jair Brown from getting this penalty. And, like, you're having rookies correcting vets. The 49ers are investing in high IQ, high character players like Alfred Collins, like C.J. West, and Mikael Williams. This dude played 47 snaps. One of the key contributors in that 4th-and-1 run stuff. Not much of a pass rusher. That's still a work in progress. But all three of these players, Alfred Collins, Mikael Williams, and C.J. West, elite run stuffers that are just stopping teams from running the ball. Now, if we could add the pressure aspect to it, now you're talking about a complete top 5 defense. They're not there yet, but such a promising start from those three rookies.
No question. John Chapman with us on the UMA guest line on 49er Forecast here on this Saturday on the Sports Leader. How about McVay? The audacity, the balls on that guy to, you're going to run a 192-pound running back at the Niners. They just drafted Mikael Williams and Alfred Collins. They don't have big time pass rush ability yet, but these guys are two of the stronger run defenders in the entire 2025 draft class. And they're sitting right there on the defensive left side, and he runs Kyron Williams on 4th down into that. Instead of, he's got Stafford and Puka, and there's so much on the same page. And we already saw another short yardage play where Stafford just threw it to Puka, and then there's nothing, absolutely nothing the Niners could do to stop it. And there it is, the game on the line potentially. And he runs a sub 200-pound running back into the teeth of the 49er run defense. It's like, you know what? He deserves to lose. You deserve to lose when you make that kind of a call. How bad did you think that call was, or did you think it was the right call?
They ran that exact same formation, exact same play earlier in a short yardage situation in the first half, and they got 3 yards on it. Now, it's a little different whenever teams are selling out and it's 4th-and-1, game on the line, overtime, all those things. But even McVay himself came out and said it was a bad call, and he regrets it, and that's something he's got to deal with. And I really feel, when games are this close, and especially with the whole McVay versus Shanahan, friends, former colleagues against each other, same division, this game kind of came down to who's not going to lose. Like, you look at the Rams, the block kick, the missed field goal, the run in 4th down, the fumble on, in the goal line. They did everything they could to lose it. And the 49ers, special teams contributed in a positive way. When's the last time we could say that, Larry? No turnovers. Yeah, you 3 straight runs into the line, and punts with no chance of a first down at the end, but constant just idea we're not going to lose this game. We're going to force you to take it from us. And it worked. Hindsight, it's 2020. Shanahan looks like the better coach in this matchup for sure. And now Shanahan's 11-6 against Sean McVay in this division.
Yeah, in the regular season, 11-7 in the, if you want to throw in the NFC Championship game that McVay got over. But yeah, he's had the head-to-head edge for sure. And there's a lot of people now for the first time ever. This is really literally the first time ever that people are really talking about Shanahan as a viable NFL Coach of the Year candidate. And it's like, it's funny, Coach of the Year, Manager of the Year in baseball, it's all like predicated on the old saying, if your premise is wrong, your conclusion by definition will be wrong. And
Ooh,
I
like
always kind of felt like, people, Dusty Baker was a 3-time Manager of the Year award winner. And it was like, well, why? Well, it was because nobody thought anything of Rich Aurelia. Nobody thought anything of Bill Miller. Nobody thought anything of Jeff Kent. Nobody thought anything of the Giants in the 90s, really, their talent. So it was always like, well, they're going to the playoffs. It must be Destiny. It has to be Dusty. In reality, they were probably sliding these players, and these media people that make these preseason prognostications probably didn't know much about Rich Aurelia. So if suddenly Rich Aurelia is playing well, and I'm just, Richie, if you're out there, I'm just using you as an example. Please don't get down on me. But you know what I'm saying? If people don't know the players, all of a sudden it's got to be the manager. So the Niners, on the other hand, have had really, highly thought of rosters. And so Shanahan's never in the running for Coach of the Year. Now here's a year where he's got a bunch of rookies, injured quarterback, all kinds of. They're a mash unit coming into the first month of the season, and they're 4-1 out of the chute. And now people are talking about Shanahan for Coach of the Year. So, what do you think, John? How do you feel about the job that Kyle has done this year?
Yeah, I think it's been A+. I mean, the fact that you have your top 5 wide receivers are out, George Kittle's out, you're dealing with all the injuries on defense, and yet you still continue to win. You're in first place. You're 3-0 against your division 5 weeks in. Backup quarterback. This is the stuff. I truly do believe this is Kyle Shanahan's best season to date at this point. I know you could talk about the 5-0 start back in 2023 and, getting to the NFC Championship with your third string quarterback. He should have won Coach of the Year previously. He should have 2 of them under his belt. But yeah, I don't think that there is any coach that you could say has done a better job so far this season in 2025 than Kyle Shanahan. Now, it's not just Kyle. Obviously, McCorkle-Jones has to play a very large role in that. We just talked about the impact that Robert Saul has made in the rookie class. But if you have watched the NFL and you could pick one coach, and we used to do this all the time on video games where you wipe the rosters and you start from scratch and you could hire any head coach in the NFL, period, to build a roster and to build a franchise. Kyle Shanahan's going to be at the top of that list right now, and probably has been for the past 7 years. This is somebody that's won the division, 3 out of 8 years, and now we're in first place again. What Kyle Shanahan's doing should not be overlooked. This is an incredible job with a backup quarterback and injuries everywhere, yet they're leading the NFL in passing yards. It's adapting. And a lot of the Kyle Shanahan critics say, well, he doesn't adapt and he's not calling the right plays and he's not innovative. I would say that those people kind of have to bite their tongue this season. They're out there throwing the ball 49 times in a game, and they're not running the ball effectively, but they're still getting the job done, even against top 5 defenses on the road on a short week like the Rams.
Yeah. No, I mean, I probably owe an apology to Kendrick Bourne because I pretty much said that Kendrick Bourne wasn't NFL after watching him drop 3 of the 4 passes he was thrown in the Jacksonville game. And man, he was the Niners' highest graded player. There's no doubt Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne have a vibe going from back in the New England days, and it's much needed, right? Because there's a bunch of new faces, but Jones to Bourne is the continuity that exists now on this Niner passing game. And wow, Bourne, what a performance. I mean, that was something else. I've apologized to him on X, not that he cares. But I felt the need to sit there and go, I fall on my sword a little bit because, I mean, I watched last week and I was like, man, this guy's slow. He can't catch. He shouldn't even be in the league. What has he done, since the ACL tear of 2023? The Niners should, move on. And wow, I mean, this guy showed up Thursday night and just said, I'm taking this thing over. I mean, that was an impressive. They threw 11 balls. He caught 10 for 140 plus yards. I mean, if you had that on your bingo card, man, ball a lot better than I. What did you think of Bourne's amazing Thursday night?
I'm with you, Larry. I was a very negative critic of Kendrick Bourne's performance in that loss, and I put that loss on him, obviously other players as well, but if Kendrick Bourne would have just played adequately, you would have won that game. But then he comes back. The Niners had no choice. Like I said, top 5 wide receivers were out. You could not move on from Kendrick Bourne even if you wanted to. He gets the start, just absolutely crushed it. So many key plays. Actually had more yards than Puka. They had the same amount of catches, and you're talking about possibly the best wide receiver in the NFL. He goes out there and victimizes the Rams secondary to the point where Sean McVay is publicly calling for the Rams to trade for new cornerbacks approaching the trade deadline. So the damage that McCorkle and Kendrick Bourne did to the Rams, if you're a 49ers fan, you got to love it. You love those divisional games. And, yeah, you do not get that victory without Kendrick Bourne, number 84, out there just putting on a show, dancing after the catch, talking, clapping it up. One of the guys to lead the team out of the locker room with the boom box. You got to love the redemption arc. It only took a week, but, man, if Kendrick Bourne can continue to perform like this when you get Ayuk back, when you get Ricky back, when you get Juwan Jennings back, Kendrick Bourne is a great number 4, number 5 wide receiver, and 49ers can have quality depth at the wide receiver position. I don't think there's ever been a point in Kyle Shanahan's tenure where you were 5 deep at the wide receiver position, which, helped, when Ayuk comes back and all that. But I'm telling you, this is a pass-heavy offense moving forward. Whether that's Brock Purdy, McCorkle Jones, doesn't matter. That's what the way this team's going to have success moving forward offensively.
John Chapman with us on the Yuma guest line. All right, John, before we let you out of here, I want you to project 3 things for us. 1, quarterback. How do you see it? Jones is healthy-ish. I don't know if he's healthy after the other night. He's probably not healthy, but he's healthier than Brock. Brock's got the toe. And and obviously there was a recurrence in the pain, and it sounds like he's going to be out for more of an extended period of time. And then you got Jones sitting there, and you got Adrian Martinez behind him. And there's nothing really behind that other than, well, I guess you could call Tanner Mordecai off of his couch somewhere. How would you play your hand at quarterback if you're the Niners the rest of the way? You tell Brock, take a month off. You play it week to week. Do you IR Brock and say, hey, you know what? We got millions and millions and millions of dollars invested in this player. Let's not screw with his career. Let's get this turf toe surgery and get on to the rehab and get this guy right instead of recurrence, which is the road he's on, and then go sign a veteran quarterback to back up Jones and Martinez the rest of the way and just roll with Jones. I mean, there's a lot of different ways they can play their hand. Some are going to make Brock pissed off, I'm sure. I'm sure he doesn't want to be IR'd or I'm sure he doesn't want to be season ended. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't, but what are the choices? I mean, you can't screw with this guy's career. Patrick Willis had to retire because of a painful toe. Brock Purdy, one of the most valuable attributes of what he does is his ability to escape. And if he doesn't have that escapability because of the toe injury, he's not the same guy. And especially if the toe impacts his accuracy, which it appears that it has. How would you play your hand at quarterback the rest of the way?
I think it's going to be a week-by-week kind of trial program moving forward. I mean, jump back to last week, Mac Jones was more injured than Brock Purdy. So you go with Brock Purdy. Well, he gets more injured than this week. Mac Jones was more healthy than Brock Purdy. So then you go Mac Jones. The fact that you have 2 quarterbacks that provide quality depth and are great quarterbacks that can run your system, use that luxury to your advantage. Remember, Mac Jones almost didn't even finish this game. So the idea of, Mac Jones is going to stay healthy behind this offensive line moving forward for a month, I don't think that's something that you could really rely on. But the goal is Mac Jones starts the next 2 games. Brock Purdy gets right and comes back around, week 8, the Houston Texans or the Giants, in order to get back for that Rams game, which you play them again week 10. You're 3-0 in the division. You got to handle this. You want Brock Purdy back. So I understand when fans and people want the new shiny object, and the backup quarterback's always the most popular person on the team and in the city. But even Mac Jones got up there and said, this is Brock's team, and when Brock Purdy is healthy, Brock Purdy will start and should start. I think the ceiling is higher. I truly believe that. But Mac Jones is pretty damn good. And so you do not have to rush him back if Mac Jones can stay healthy. I think the next 2 weeks, Mac Jones starts, then you pass the baton back to Brock Purdy. Hopefully he picks up and handles his business and kind of reinserts himself as the quarterback one for the 49ers. He's going to get that chance no matter what. But you got to hope these guys stay healthy. And that just has not happened in the Kyle Shanahan era. This offensive line, which is designed to pass protect, a lot of quarterbacks getting hurt.
No question. 2.2 a carry is what the Niners average run game was. If you could do one thing to jumpstart the rushing attack other than just plugging Kittle in at tight end, what would you do?
More screens, more change of direction. You've got to get some of those jet sweeps, got to get some of those screens to make the defensive line not just tee off every single play. This interior offensive line's not carrying their weight at all. The wide receivers are not blocking well at all. That's not going to change until personnel changes. So get some more misdirection, jet sweeps. You saw kind of the double pass reverse. You saw the hook and ladder. Going to have to get a little sneaky to create some of these opportunities, create some of these lanes. So misdirection, I think, is important.
Last one for you, John. Appreciate you coming on. The Niners have played 2 games now, without Bosa, basically. And they got no sacks against Jacksonville, no quarterback hits. And this week they got 1 sack. It was a Bryce Huff sack. Only 2 hits on the quarterback, 1 from Collins, 1 from Huff. That's just not enough. It's just not enough. If John Lynch were sitting right here and he said, "Hey, John Chapman, you're a big Niner guy. What should I do to help fortify the defensive line because something needs to be done between now and the first week in November when the trade deadline comes." What is your suggestion?
Yeah, I think the 5-man pressure is kind of the answer. You saw the 49ers in the second quarter against Matt Stafford start doing 6-man pressures. It totally did not work. You had walk-in touchdowns, busted coverage, miscommunications. So you want to commit to getting pressures. And I think the 5-man simulated pressure has worked very well for the Niners. I wish they would blitz Marquise Siegel more, Upton Stout more, these guys that are a little bit more coverage liabilities, and allow your cover guys to be cover guys. So 5-man pressure would be my easiest. Commit to this. Don't do the overload delay pressures, which I don't think work in this scheme. But yeah, I want Marquise Siegel. I want Upton Stout. I want D Winters. I want these guys who have not been as great in coverage going and allowing guys like Fred Warner, allowing guys like Diamador Lenore to be your cover guys out there. But it's going to be hard to generate pressure when, look, everybody you added, Larry, run stuffers primarily who have pass rush developmental upside. These rookies haven't had time to develop in 5 weeks. Alfred Collins, who's a run stuffer, had one of your 2 quarterback hits. So I don't think it's going to be an overnight address until you can add somebody in the passing game. Arden Key, that is kind of one of the guys I'm circling for this trade deadline. Makes a lot of sense. And so hopefully you can go get a actual pass rusher to add to this defensive roster, because you're going to have to. But you can only do so much with scheme with the personnel that you have.
Yeah, for me, everybody says Trey Hendrickson. If I could get like a Will McDonald or, from the Jets, or Jermaine Johnson, maybe. I know he had the injury, but I'd knock on that on that New York Jets door, just because Saleh knows those guys, and I think he could introduce them to this defense probably quicker than maybe some other pieces to the puzzle. John, awesome stuff, man. We should tell everybody John is the 49er Rush podcast creator and host. He's a great follow on X at JL_Chapman, also 49errush.com. Come out there as well. John, thanks for jumping on KNBR. We appreciate you.
You're the best, Larry. Keep doing what you do, man.
Thanks, man. John Chapman in the house. All right, we're going to take some calls on the turn for home. If you're holding, 808 KNBR is the phone number. I got a couple more 49er thoughts to share with you, and I want to hear from you. 808 KNBR. The 49ers are off to a 4-1 start, and who are you crediting the most? 808 KNBR. We'll come back for your calls next on the Sports Leader.
KNBR, the Sports Leader.
Here comes Eddie Pinheiro for what would be a career-long 59-yard attempt. Maybe 60, almost 60 yards. His career-long is 56. The ball's going to be put down on the left hash. Here's the snap. The ball is away. It's got plenty of leg. Is it on target? Yes! Pinheiro! He drilled it from 59 and a half yards. What a clutch kick! Eddie, money! And the Niners take the lead.
Holy smokes.
Faithful Larry Krueger's rocking the red and gold as 49ers forecast continues on KNBR, the sports leader. Sports leader.
Awesome call. Guy Haberman on the call. Eddie Money. Eddie Dinero. Oh, my goodness.
Holy
What?
smokes.
Holy smokes, T-Rock. Eddie Pinheiro. Where have you gone, Jake Moody? And all of a sudden, what a turn of events. Eddie Pinheiro missed the first PAT that he ever took with the 49ers. Since then, 11 for 11 on field goals, including 2 game winners in 4 games, and a 59-yarder. And I love Shanahan's line. He's like, let's just find out what he's got. Let's find out what he's got. And, you know, Eddie just stepped up and he made it. The vibe is it's amazing. I mean, what's really kind of amazing, and I don't want to be negative, but it's amazing that they went as long as they went with Jake Moody, knowing that Eddie Pinheiro was on the couch. This guy's the 3rd most accurate kicker in the history of the NFL. He was sitting on his couch, and we were sitting here losing our minds about Jake Moody. They bring in Eddie Pinheiro, and Eddie Dinero Pinheiro is 11 for 11. What a story. Man, the Niners are off to a nice start. 4-1. I think everybody's feeling pretty good. It's a great day to watch a little college football, enjoy some of our unbelievably perfect Northern California early fall weather. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday. Welcome to 49er Forecast, this is our normal spot. We're here on Saturdays during football season between 10 and 11 to take your calls and to talk Niner ball. And usually we're forecasting, hey, what's going to go on tomorrow, right? Because it's a Saturday show, Sunday game, so on and so forth. But the game was Thursday night. Mike said, hey, you want the day off? Or do you want to come in on a Saturday and just chop it up? And I said, let's just do it. Let's just come in on a Saturday. What the hell? Why not? I love doing this. If it was digging a ditch, maybe I wouldn't do it. But since it's a lot of fun, why not? And let's go to Curtis in Napa who wants to jump in. And if you want to chime in here, we got about we're going to go a little bit past 11 because we got the baseball game coming up, the Cubs Brewers at about 11. So we got about 10, 12 minutes to take your calls. If you're driving around on a Saturday and you have some Niner thoughts you want to share with us, bang the number, as I used to say to G-Rad, 808 KNBR. Curtis is in Napa, and he wants to talk about who gets credit for the Niners being 4-1. The Niners are 4-1. Curtis in Napa because of who or what?
Hey, first-time caller, long-time listener, love the show.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it's been something this year, you know. I love the term MASH unit. The boys been getting it done. I think it bodes well, you know, when we get our starters back. These young pups are getting their cleats wet and doing a great job. Yeah, the one.
It's a good vibe too. Wouldn't you say the Niners have a good vibe going right now?
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, from Mac Jones to McCaffrey doing his thing. You know, it's awesome to see. You know, and like I said, it bodes well for the future. Get some of our starters back, and we can go on a great run. Yeah, you stole my thunder coming out of break. Eddie Money Pinheiro. Damn. You talk about anxiety with Moody for the past 2 years, almost heart attack level, but anxiety's gone. The man's given us, close to 40 points with field goals and extra points. He deserves a lot of credit.
You know, it's funny too, Curtis. I did the interview with him when he came into the locker room for the first time, Eddie Pinheiro, and And he said, like, sometimes people say the loud part, they say the quiet part out loud, right? And one of the unspoken things with the NFL is that it's very cutthroat, right? It's like now or never. The NFL stands for not for long. And the kickers, I mean, it's even more so, right? There's no ambiguity in were you successful or not? Did it go through the yellow uprights? Then you're a god. If it missed, then you're probably out of a gig. And he said to me, he looked right at me and he goes, hey, you know what? He goes, it's the NFL, man. You either make kicks or you're gone. And then he goes, ha, ha, ha. He kind of laughed it off. And I thought to myself, that right there is the difference between Eddie Pinheiro and Jake Moody. Jake Moody knew that was the reality, but he didn't have the experience or the life experience or, just the reps to laugh it off, to be able to laugh in the face of your do or die situation. And I think it probably bothered him. And it's a different deal kicking in the pros for money. And Eddie it's not that Eddie's got anything amazing other than he got it all in perspective. And he doesn't have the weight. There was a lot of weight around Jake Moody. Every time he talked, every time his name came up, there was a burdensome weight to the whole conversation, where Eddie's like, hey, if I miss kicks, they're getting rid of me. Ha ha ha. And it's like he's got the whole thing in perspective. And I just think that makes everybody kind of just relax, because the moment's not too big for Eddie Pinheiro.
No, it's not. It's just when he gets out there, everything's nice and calm. And, percentage-wise, he's going to drill it. So, like I said, all the best to Jake Moody. He's got a hell of a leg. But it's going to take that time and that experience, to find that comfort zone to where the moment's not too big. But,
and it's about living. It's funny. I always bring up Radnich because Radnich and I worked together for so long. But Gary used to have so many great lines, and it's like one of his favorite lines was, "Hey man, I've lived a little." In other words, you know what? I'm not swaying with every assistant program director who says, maybe you should try this, or maybe you should do that, or do this, or do that. It's like, you know what? I know who I am. I've lived a little. I'm a little bit more rooted. And you get that vibe around Eddie that, you know what? Once you've been cut and you've been cut multiple times and you've moved around the league, guess what? The idea of being cut is no longer so scary. But if you're Jake Moody and you've never been cut and you're a third-round draft choice and you got the weight of that all on your shoulders, you're probably sitting there going, oh, my God, if I miss this kick, I'm cut. And it's just that's no way to live as an NFL kicker. And I think the perspective that Eddie brings is really his greatest trait.
Yeah, absolutely.
Curtis, thanks for the call, man. Have a great day in Napa. I bet you it's a beautiful day in Napa today, huh?
I already played 18 on the course, and now I'm at Costco picking up pizzas for a party.
Oh, there you go. You sound like me. Curtis, have a great Saturday. Thanks for calling into the leader.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
You too, Curtis in Napa. He's already gotten in 18?
I've
18?
lived a life that's full.
Yes, you have. G-Rad. We got to get G-Rad back on here one of these days. I mean, people would just lose their minds if they could hear Gary's thoughts on some of these things. Gary, we love you, brother. Don's on Highway 101, and he's with us on the Sports Leader. Hey, Don.
Hey there. How's it going?
Good. How's your morning going?
Not bad. Not bad. On my way to Hardly Strictly right now, but figured I would call in. I think we need to give Mac Jones his flowers, man. I mean, watching the return of the Mac has been nothing short of spectacular. I was a little bit nervous when he came in for Brock at first. I've been nothing short of impressed. And I think, a lot of people have been talking about it, but I just cannot emphasize enough how much I'm impressed by this kid.
I know. I'm with you. And it's weird, isn't it? It's a little weird because I think everybody nationally, maybe because he played in New England and it's the proximity to Bristol and ESPN, but it was like the decision had already been made that Mac Jones was garbage, that Mac Jones was failed, that Mac Jones wasn't good. And yet this guy was great at Alabama. And, the dynamic that I think is really interesting as well is that if you believe the stories, now we don't know what to believe because Kyle Shanahan picked Trey Lance And Kyle Shanahan's always been the guy with this organization. So it's like Lance was his pick and Jones. But the talk was from the Mike Lombardis of the world was that Kyle Shanahan, they traded up to number 3 because they wanted Mac Jones. And even after they drafted Trey Lance, these people that were saying that just doubled down on it. They're like, no. Kyle wanted Mac Jones. Okay, so Kyle eventually debunked that and was like, hey, I wanted Trey Lance. But you kind of wonder if he was convinced to go with Trey Lance. And you wonder, what is the dynamic like behind the scenes if indeed Kyle Shanahan was the one banging the table for Mac Jones in 2021 lead up to the draft and other people wanted Trey Lance? We don't know. Kyle has basically said, no, I wanted Trey Lance. But let's just say he was convinced by somebody else to go with Trey Lance. That dynamic now would be very, very interesting because now he's got the guy that he wanted, according to some, and he's making it work. And Mac Jones looks like the Mac Jones saw at Alabama, who was absolutely, totally dominant compared to the Mac Jones that we saw with New England. So I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. I don't know what to say about it. Mac Jones went 15-1 as a starter at Alabama. He went 28-2 in games that he played even, at all at Alabama. So he did nothing but win there. And the Niners wanted him, and Shanahan wanted him. Thought he could process. Thought he would be an upgrade on Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think watching him, I think he can process, and I think he would have been an incredible upgrade on Jimmy Garoppolo. So it's just very interesting to watch him now, call plays for Mac. And Mac just looks like he's made for this offense. And he's playing in rhythm, and he's playing on time, and the ball's coming out with accuracy. He appears to see the field. He doesn't have a bunch of turnovers. So I don't know what to make of it. It's awesome. It's amazing to watch. And now the question is, what do the Niners do? Because you got a starting quarterback that's got turf toe or some form of a toe injury, and it seemed to have gotten exacerbated and made worse by his appearance against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So how do you play your hand? Do you go with Mac for 2 more weeks and then go back to Brock? Do you go with Mac for a month and then go back to Brock? Do you put Brock on IR? Do you have Brock have a season-ending toe surgery and go with Mac and Adrian Martinez and maybe some other veteran? I don't know how they play their hand. I don't know how much pain or what the prognosis is on the toe, but Mac Jones looks great in this offense. And I've heard people say if they knew what they know now when they signed Brock, that the Niners wouldn't have signed Brock. And I don't know if that's the case or not. I think Brock is still the better of the 2 quarterbacks. But, man, it's exciting to watch Jones back there step into what, has been a complicated offense. It took Matt Ryan a couple years to master this thing. And Mac, in 3 games, just looks so comfortable. So it's a great story, and it's fun to watch. Thursday night might have been one of the most fun games I've seen the Niners play, maybe in my lifetime. That was a lot of fun. Nobody gave them a shot. They're giving up for dead. They're 8.5-point favorite, or underdogs on the road against the Rams, and they beat them. It was incredible to watch. Don, what do you think? How would you play your hand if you're the Niners? Do you go with Jones the rest of the way and Purdy have surgery, or do you rush Brock in there as soon as he says he's good enough to go?
Yeah, I think we ease Brock back in. I agree that I think we kind of rushed him back for the Jaguars game. The way that Mac is playing right now, I don't see any reason not to keep playing him. I would be interested. I agree on to hear what the prognosis is on the turf toe. Hopefully, it doesn't have to involve a season-ending injury. But if it does, we could be in a much worse position. So thanks for taking the call. Huge fan of the show.
Thanks, Don. Have a great day driving on Highway 101. Will's in Mountain View. We'll get down to the South Bay. We'll take one more before we break. Will, we only got about a minute, but give us what you got.
I'll make it real quick. I'm going to do a little pump the brakes, which is a term you use, and I like it.
Okay.
There's a lot of, with this victory, there's a lot of stuff coming around like Kyle should be coach of the year. I think we have to kind of wait to see where the year ends up. And I bring up a coach that you'll remember named Bud Grant. Bud Grant was a very solid winning coach. I'm the guy that brings up old-timey stories, but I like to use those for perspective. How many Super Bowls did he go to? 4.
4?
How many did he
4.
win? 0.
Right.
And nobody talks about Bud Grant. So until Shanahan wins a Super Bowl, he's Bud Grant. That's my thought.
I hear you. Bud Grant, was very respected. Great coach in the CFL, great coach in the NFL. I mean, he's not only that. I mean, he passed in 2023 at the age of 95. But I believe either in 2023 or 2022, maybe 2021, he went out in shirt sleeves on a freezing day for a coin flip. So, I mean, Bud Grant, one of the toughest guys of all time, was born in right there on Lake Superior in Wisconsin.
But the bottom line is,
no, I hear you. Though. I hear you.
Until you win the big one, you're
he did though. I mean,
you're a
he
solid
did
coach,
win the big
but
one.
You're not.
I mean, he did.
This
guy was a 4-time. He lost 4 Super Bowls, but he won an NFL championship in '69 as a coach. He was the NFL Coach of the Year in '69. He also was the CFL Coach of the Year and a 4-time Grey Cup champion. But I hear what you're saying. Shanahan, you want that Super Bowl victory, and before you're going to sit there and say Shanahan Coach of the Year, you want to see him get it. I get it. I get it. I mean, believe me, Kyle has a very, very, very high standard for his own career, I'm sure. And I'm sure he would not consider it complete until he gets what his father had, which is that Super Bowl ring. And it's elusive. These things are hard to get. I hear you. He's not the perfect coach. Heck, I mean, when Alfred Collins punched the ball out and the Niners needed 1 first down, I mean, this is an offensive guru, and they basically bucked 3 times into the line and handed the ball right back to the Rams. Where was that super creative bootleg pass play that gets the first down and ices it on offense? That would have been great to see. Now, they were backed up on their own 1-yard line, so he played it conservative, and ultimately they won, so it was the right answer. But, no, I hear you. I mean, I was sitting there going, come on, Kyle. Really? We're going to go $3 into the line and hand them the ball back and just pray that the young defense can come through? And that was the plan, and it worked. So, Go ahead, Will. One last thought.
The Eagles, I'm scared of. That's who would prevent that Super Bowl ring.
Well, yeah, it's a long year, though. It's a long year, and right now you're right. The Eagles look amazing. They're the defending Super Bowl champions, while the Niners are struggling mightily in the red zone. The Eagles are 11 for 11 with 11 touchdowns on 11 trips inside the red zone. So, yeah, they've got the tush push, the short yardage trick, and the whole deal. Great defense, great special teams, a killer O-line. I mean, they've got a lot of the things the Niners don't have, and it may be that this year the Eagles are head and shoulders above everybody else in the conference. But we'll see. It's a long year, and we'll see what they look like health-wise later on this year. Will, have a great day in Mountain View. Thanks for chiming in. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to Raph. Thanks to John Chapman. Thanks to those of you who jumped in via the phone call. We're going to throw it to a little baseball here. You got baseball the rest of the day on the leader. So if you like your playoff baseball, and who doesn't love playoff baseball? I wish the Giants were in it. Damn it. Giants, get off your butt and get in the playoffs. Cubs already have a 1-0 lead on the Brewers. They've already scored, so we're going to throw it to Milwaukee.
Michael Busch went deep on Peralta.
Michael Busch took Peralta deep in the first, and the Cubbies have a 1-0 lead on the Brew Crew. What a regional battle that is. And then Yanks, Blue Jays to follow, Dodgers, Phillies to follow after that, and then Tigers, M's to wrap it up. Have a great Saturday, and we'll see you on Monday at 6 o'clock for more Niners Nightly on the Sports Leader.
Okay, listen to KNBR 680, win a prize, win a cookie.
The Cubs have a 1-0 lead on a Michael Busch leadoff homer.